Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Caitlin Sharp and I am a grad student in neuroscience at the University of Rochester. Thank you for joining us for the Voices of XR, a Mary Ann Afranac Studio X speaker series. The series is made possible by Kathy McMorran-Murray at the National Science Foundation as part of the interdisciplinary graduate training in science, technology, and applications of augmented and virtual reality at the University of Rochester. I am happy to introduce Lisa Maria Wurzinger. Thank you so much for joining us, Lisa. Lisa began her career as a performance artist in theater in 2004, and then worked as an art reporter and presenter in the TV industry. In 2009, she became a production manager for Go Pictures, and later co-founded Go Pictures KG and its XR studio label, Go insideVR, which specializes in narrative VR 360-degree experiences and immersive storytelling. Lisa has produced multiple social XR live music, art, and theater events. She is also a speaker, mentor, active in research and development of the media, and a consultant for the European Commission in the field of film, XR, and media innovation. She promotes a diverse, inclusive, and accessible future for immersive technology. In 2023, Lisa Maria Wurzinger co-founded Arrival.Space, a fully web-based landing space and interoperable social 3D network that provides tools, access, and discovery for the immersive web and its creators. Please feel free to post your questions in the chat, and we will have a Q&A after the talk. Lastly, the session is being recorded and will be available to you later on the StudioX website. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Hi, Caitlin. Thank you so much for this intro. Thanks, everybody, for having me here today. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm happy to give you today an overview what I've done in the last 15 years. Starting with traditional films, switching to 360 film production, then social XR live events, and now what we're doing with Arrival.Space. And it's especially super interesting for us and for me to see your opinion and your point of view on the immersive web, and learn a little bit more also what you guys are doing here. So I'm looking forward to the Q&A afterwards as well. So you can see my screen, right? Okay, perfect. So this is basically Arrival.Space. It is like a fully web-based and interoperable social 3D platform. What does that mean? To us, being in the XR industry for 8 years now, one of the biggest learnings was that we need accessibility and interoperability between virtual worlds, right? So we produced a couple of social XR live events, and every time everybody had to download an app, the access was super hard. Nobody found the way in there, and it was really, really hard to discover creators and artists and events in virtual reality with the headset or on desktop. So we tried to create a space where people can easily claim their space, add and edit different types of multimedia content, and then share it with the audience online. And for us, it was the way to go was WebXR. It has to be fully web-based. It has to work on a mobile desktop and then VR, so we can provide different layers of immersive interaction for everybody. And as you can see here, for example, it's my profile card. I can add all my socials. I see the spaces, my followers, messages, and everything. And every space is designed more or less the main environment, the main structures has 7 gates, and you can edit these 7 gates. So you don't have to build a whole environment. You don't need deep tech skills to do that. You just really need to have a room concept in mind or know what type of content you would like to share, and you can create additional spaces and interlink them and so on. But you don't need any special skills to set up an Arrival.Space. yeah, so I'm just going to give you today like a little bit of a tour, talking about my previous productions, how we got there, then like show you a couple of use cases, and then especially for you guys, some AI features that are still like in development. But yeah, thanks again for the intro. So I don't have to add like anything more to that. It's like basically theater, film, 360 VR, and then social VR. For us, it was like really the special moment, I think, in our career, because I founded all my companies together with my partner, Gero A.E. And we've been at the Cannes Film Festival like in 2016, and this was like a very special moment for us. Like we came there as a traditional film production company, and there was like this little VR corner in the very back. And there have been like the VR headsets and a couple of films to watch. And for us, it was like really interesting because it was like a huge tech demo overall. Like there was no storytelling at all. And we tried to think about, okay, how can you implement cinematic storytelling into this new medium? And then we started, this is a couple of slides here. We started to produce our first 360 film, Remain at Home, in 2017. And it was like, at that time, like this huge refugee crisis in Europe and in Austria. So Gero wrote a script about a family who is like forced to leave home because of war. And we had like the script in English and German and Arabic, and had like Syrian refugees as actors, and like produced this piece like in 1.5 months, like really, really, really quick. And we had like this whole 360 setting, and really figured out with all the departments on how to shoot a cinematic 360 experience. So this was like very new at that time. And we got selected at Paris at the film festival, and then basically at all the film festivals at that time that had like VR sections, and showcased the film like really until the pandemic hit. Like putting hundreds of headsets onto people's faces, learning on how to perceive the media was a very emotional piece. And for us, it was like really interesting to see how people are perceiving VR and emotional films also in this medium. And then, of course, everybody had to pivot, and we started to showcase Remain at Home on social VR platforms, and produced like the first event, one of the first live concerts together with Room and Serapsia and Virtual Worlds in VR chat. Everybody, I guess, or a lot of people like know VR chat as one of the biggest social VR platforms. So it was really like having this real life interactive moment with the band in Graz in Austria playing, live streaming the concert as their avatars in VR chat. It was really a fun period of time experimenting, let's say. Another production was, for example, for the Austrian Culture Forum in New York. Still, everybody was in lockdown, so we produced like their street section in VR and showcased what the musicians that were supposed to be hosted by the ACF would do. Had like a live meeting in there, and that was the first time that we had like VR headsets in New York. Still like this very yeah, you had to download the app, but we at this point also provided like a web experience for people to attend. And another production of us was like Only Answers Left Alive, like an immersive theater piece. We hosted like 14 shows on a WebXR platform, and already like interlinked from Mozilla hubs into VR land, also with the international partners. And yeah, really interesting, and a lot of learnings on how to get people into VR or virtual spaces. Yeah, so, and tons of other events, of course, we attended. And I also worked for yeah, the European Commission. On the one hand, I'm evaluating funding proposals in the field of assistive media, VR, and traditional film. And on the other hand, we're like super active in this VR/AR industrial coalition that the European Commission is forming. To foster like inclusive and diverse and open and safe immersive web. And yeah, a lot of other talks, etc. So this is basically my showcase, right? What I'm trying to show you here. And yeah, for us, I think the next big step for us, like after working with so many different platforms and us being like a content production studio, right? We were looking for a technical partner, a developer, because we already had like the main concept of Arrival.Space in place. And it was like a tricky phase for us, like to find the right partner. And luckily, we found Thomas Richter-Trummer. Gero went to school with him and knows him like for 25 years. And yeah, he was like the CTO and co-founder of one of the biggest gaming studios in Austria, and also co-founded Black Shark AI. So very familiar with the 3D and gaming industry. And yeah, we decided to accept this challenge to move this onto the web. And I'm very happy about this. So yeah, so far so good. You can see, for example, our partners showcasing here the websites. So everything is like fully scrollable, and you can like click through different types of websites or just like book a call here, for example. And now I just really want to go a little bit more deeper into Arrival.Space itself. So we launched like a very early open beta in October last year. So it was a huge step for us because we started working in like early 2020, 22, and it was like 1 year in production. And then finally, like, it's still very experimental. It's still an open beta, but we need feedback from people on how they use Arrival.Space and learn from that. So it is really, really important to us, like, to have a lot of conversation with the people, see what they're doing, and the use cases are extremely wide, let's say. So we have like young people shopping Nike shoes in there, right? So we on the other hand have like other people like really presenting what they've built the last years on multiple different platforms and showcasing it in Arrival.Space directly. But for us, it was like really bridging the gap between 2D content and 3D content, because not everybody is there yet. So we have to like bridge the gap. You can attach all the websites, all the 2D content, YouTube video, everything you already have, and make it 3D like immediately. Yeah, overall for us, it's like I said before, it's like the interconnectivity and the interoperability between worlds, and also like to provide access for creators to be discovered so they can send like a link to their clients and audiences. And people can hop right in Arrival.Space as a guest. They don't need to sign up. They can do it immediately. And in the best case, find it interesting and, of course, create a space for themselves. So let me quickly get there. So here are a couple of use cases. Just going quickly inside here. So this, for example, is like, I call it a recap space. So an event last year in London from Women in Immersive Tech. We got invited there, and it's basically like everything that happened in these 2 days, their Instagram postings. I added a couple of photos, the videos, and shared it with the people who attended. And what you can see here is basically a voicey, so everybody can leave voices. It's like a 3D message. I'm going to showcase it later to you because it records movement and voice. And here you always have the back, so you don't have to look a lot around. Here, for example, we have like Bracy from Treehouse AI. He's also based in New York. And he is like linking instead of his website directly into his Arrival.Space, like showcasing what he's doing with Treehouse, hosting people in here, explaining what he's doing, and like growing his ecosystem of Treehouse inside. I hope you can hear it. Let me know if you can hear it.
Welcome to the Treehouse Arrival.Space. This is the development hub for developing the Treehouse platform. Let me show you around real quick. All of these are links. If you aren't aware what the Arrival.Space, these are all links to different elements of our Treehouse development process. Feel free to just walk up the ramp and into any of these, and you can join us as we continue to develop. And we'll be posting more shortly.
All right. Really interesting project, so please check it out. Another example of like showcasing things in here is from Lily Snyder, for example. She has like attached the outfits that she likes from Ready Player Me, more information about the books and the articles she's producing and writing, links to other people like Tom Fisk, attaches like YouTube videos, but also has like uploaded the scans she's doing. It, as you can see, is like really multiple types of content to share with your audience as a 3D portfolio and interacting via the voices. Here, for example, you have like Metaxa Studios. These are the architects who have designed the space, like the overall environment here. And this is like the use case. They are used to like live and work in the virtual space. Like they have like created multiple environments for different platforms, and it is super tricky to showcase them to clients because every platform has like a different link. It's like a mix of links and everybody gets lost. So they are attaching their work in their Arrival.Space, like. And as you can see, you're like immediately have like a look into another platform. So they can showcase and create really nice tours of what they've built. And you can also like walk inside and still be in Arrival.Space. So you have like the audio channel open. You can explain it to their clients and then hop back. You can also like open it into another tab and then go there directly. So this is like what we mean with interoperability and hopping between virtual worlds. Like you can actually hop into any other web-based world from within Arrival.Space. And that's what it is for us, and that's why I think it's so important. It's not about Arrival.Space. It's like this interconnectivity, and that's what drives us. So these two creators are like software developers and 3D designers from Argentina. And I'm like super excited when I see something new what they're doing, because they really came up with the most amazing things. So this is like semi-art. Also using Arrival.Space as her portfolio. And as you can see, it's like really, you can do quite a lot in here. You don't have to, but you can add like really multiple types of different content and add like interactive parts within the gates directly. We have here her partner, Jesus, and he's like also, they're designing t-shirts, for example, adding the t-shirt shops in there, from selling the t-shirts from within Arrival.Space. So this is like the v-commerce use case. And also showcasing what they're doing. And all these types of elements in here. Of course, we also have like a lot of music going on and other stuff. So let me just quickly go back there. Okay. So what I'm going to then showcase to you is some couple of media types. What you can do. So what we have here is like a little bit of a preview of multiple types of content. There are like the basics, like the websites. You can add slideshows, upload PDF, 3D assets, etc. But we're also like testing with splats, which is basically a PLY file. It's an animated splat. You don't see that often, but with AI coming up, it's like really interesting. And it's really, really easy to upload and polish the splat. And the thing is, like, at this point, most of the programs and stuff don't have like a viewer, a viewer to like really watch it, and the multiplayer function, because you can hop into the space like 25 people and discuss the splat, for example. So this is like a really, really experimental thing that we're trying to do. So let me get back. We also like, because we come from this like traditional background, we have a lot of contacts with XR production studios, 360-degree film content creators, and still 360, nobody has solved like the distribution issue with that type of content, because LBE is also like quite tricky, I would say. So having like the option for, and this is also like a real life use case from the Quest Everest experience, for people to like showcase their 360 content and what they're doing. So this is like,
there is no place like the country of Nepal. And there's no adventure quite like going on an epic 52-day expedition to try to climb the highest and most legendary mountain on Earth, Mount Everest.
yeah, like in the VR headset, of course, also like a different thing, but you can watch it in a 360 view with other people directly also in here. Yeah, then we have like a couple of AI features. I have to say that not everything is like publicly available at this point, so we're like fully in experimental mode here. But we have like an AI bot. He's called like Mr. Korf, and yeah, I already showcased this to you. So I'm going to call Mr. Korf. Hey, Mr. Korf, can you help me design the space? Fingers crossed, everything's working, because it's not that.
Hello, I'd be delighted to help you design your space. Please tell me your ideas or what you need assistance with, such as setting up gates, textures, or the central asset.
Can you please generate an image of the most famous AI picture and place it into the second gate? It takes a while. You have to bear with me.
I've generated an image of a famous AI picture and placed it on the screen of the second gate. What else would you like to do with your space?
Can you please create a texture for the floor with silver flowers? So it basically like helps you setting content in the gates itself, either with ChatGPT, like scrollable websites and stuff, or DALL-E images. And it also helps you like designing the textures of the space itself. Okay, so I can also like walk into.
I've created a floor texture featuring silver flowers and applied it to your space. Anything else you'd like to modify or add?
Okay, I'm good for now, but you can also like always walk into a gate and add a text and generate a website, for example. You can also then edit the code and make it look really fancy, but it's basically really easy to do it. So we have like a website, one button that changes the background when clicking it. Yeah. So these are like the little things where you can like get assistance with your space and setting up the space, designing the textures. You can also like do it in here directly. And yeah, brand the space the way you want, attach all types of content. And what else can I? Yeah, that's like the most experimental thing I would say is like the holotech. So also like, hi, Mr. Korf, can you please add a blue box next to the green box? It's basically about creating generative AI environments and be able to use it in multiple ways. That's interesting.
I've placed a blue box next to the green box as you requested. Would you like to make any further adjustments or add more elements to your space?
Can you make it a bit more smaller so they are not overlapping? So iterating the AI prompt is like always the fun part. Okay. Yeah.
I've resized the blue box to make it smaller, ensuring it no longer overlaps with the green box.
So
Anything
like
else you'd like to adjust or add?
the test things going on in here, I would say. And for example, when you're like environment, you can also have like AI generated environments and like directly implemented here. So everybody who cannot code like me is like has the chance to like set up really cool spaces and create really nice environments, let's say. And what I'm going to do here is like attaching another space I have created for you. So it is like Voices of XR, I think only. And everybody that like signs up on the website or our space, claims their space, starts with a really blank, neat space. So you can then create a new space, for example. Decide on the privacy setting, if it's like link only or open, and create like a really blank new space. So that's the way everybody starts. You have like this welcome center gate. You can explore a couple of experiences and content in there. You can like adjust the back wall and everything. You can browse different spaces from the guest mode, for example, and then add them directly here. You can also like attach a couple of websites. then brand the space, for example, with or without AI, with text, or when you are have the pro rights also with the AI directly, and then share it. So it's like basically really, really easy to set everything up. And here. This is like a pre-set up space for this Voices of XR session. Uploading the logo, etc. You can also like upload a 3D asset or logo and make it 3D directly, and then invite people and present content directly in there, for example. Attach the YouTube videos and everything else. And what I'm going to do is like I'm sharing this space with you in the chat. So everybody then afterwards can hop in directly. And if you, Megan, for example, decides to set up an account in Arrival.Space, I'm happy to give you like the room ownerships, or you can set it up, of course, immediately afterwards. Okay, so somebody's hopping in here. You have to move a little bit forward so that not everybody is spawning at the same point. And yeah, exactly. And then you can like click, you're here now inside as a guest, and everybody can click on their profile and have like a limited choice, but a choice of different avatars. And I'm going to like add, for example, here, the use cases. For you guys to explore. Also, when you go into the Welcome Center directly, there are a couple of artists and experiences attached, and there's also like the official featured spaces tour. And I'd be happy for you to explore. And yeah. So I can show you a lot more. The question for me is like, do you have any questions up front, or do you want me to browse a couple more spaces, or do you have like already some questions? Okay.
Question? Yeah.
Hi, Doc Brown.
Hi,
Hi.
I have two questions. First, thank you for the demo and showing us the different spaces that we can interact with. My first question was around the kind of the system that you showed off that uses the OpenAI ChatGPT model to kind of build things in the environment. I was wondering how maybe you got that working, because I know that's kind of more of like a text-based model. So I was wondering how you were able to get that to like interact with the 3D space and generate new things on the fly.
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's like a lot of it is like publicly available, and tweaking it a little bit so that it's interactive, like the holodeck. That's a thing, to be honest, a question to my CTO. So I'm not like, he's like really a wizard doing these things. And it's really fun for us to experiment with it and having it like on the fly, iterating. Everything is like, yeah, publicly there, but making it work in a multiplayer scenario is like the magic that he's doing, to be very honest.
Sure. And my second question was kind of around privacy and ownership of things. So if I have my own virtual space that I've created and I have designed it in my own way, I might not want to, like, let's say I made a museum of computer artifacts. I didn't want other people to come in, move that and change that. Is there a way that I could say, these things can be interacted with, you can walk around certain areas, but not these areas, or you can interact with these objects, but only if you have, like, is that something that you thought more about or something that you want to implement?
I mean, that's a very interesting thought of having like areas or objects that are editable for other people or not. So right now, as a room owner, space owner, you can decide on the privacy level for the people you invite in, like this link only, private or public. We don't have at this point like multi-admin features and stuff like that. So we know that it's needed, right? We don't see ourselves like as really like an event platform like the things we did before. We're no longer like really doing a lot of events in there, even though people keep asking, and it totally makes sense. But also it's like the things I showed you, like this extra environments, are not available right now. So we're just like experimenting with it because we want to create like really nice looking endpoints, so people can create nice endpoints. And you can attach basically any generated scene into Arrival.Space. That's not the thing, but right now this is like something that's a little bit restricted, because when you open that box, it's like you have to provide a lot more features, I would say. But yeah, it's still very early, and editing together in a space as a joint experience is like really interesting. Yeah.
Well, the endpoints look good. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
I have a question. Lisa, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so the platform looks wonderful. I do educational research. So I was thinking if any rooms can be created where we can do classes. For example, instead of having classes or Zoom, can we use any do you have any such features that can be used for educational or learning purposes? Suppose we have a classroom, students coming in, interacting. Is it possible?
I mean, yeah, it always depends on how many people you would like to host, of course. If it's like a class with 30, 40 people, it should normally work. We just had a session with the TU Dublin in here with about 30 people, and a talk with the interesting speakers here at their Metaverse Learning Conference. So yes, normally you can do it. We're also collaborating with other universities in Austria and research institutions, hosting like classes and for design students and also marketing students, for example. So yes, it's totally doable. When you're normally, you can also like add a gate with the Zoom link. So you have like this additional layer, but it's just a link to share basically. So you could set up your space, attach the content for the class, interlink another space if you need more space, another 7 gates, and then invite the students to come and join. Yeah.
Thank you.
We also have like, these are not, can you reach the top? These are more like gamified experiences.
Way up to the top.
So it's not an endpoint per se, but you can like also, when you have like big assets or offices or classroom, or you want to like create a little bit of a different environment, you can also like implement the asset and make it bigger. So you have like another feeling, I would say. But yeah. What people also do is like, for more customization at this point, you can also like download our Arrival.Space environment, download the assets, and then brand it fully and overall, and then upload it again. So it really looks like, for example, your location where you're based, or studio, or else. So let me go in there. Please feel free to ask me anything if you have like any Any?
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. I still have some technical questions. If you can answer, that would be great. So basically, I saw your presentation about like how to create multiple like squares in your workspace. So for example, creating a square, this is kind of an easy task. But for example, if I want to put a for example, statue of David inside my virtual space, will the model just generate a 3D model from scratch, or will it retrieve a 3D asset? Okay, cool. Okay.
It's funny you said that. So here's David.
Okay.
The generative AI, let's build what I say thing is of course a little bit in the future. This is like the scans you can directly upload. So you don't have to, you can either like scan, for example, the Scaniverse with your phone, scan the glass in front of me and upload it directly. It instantly creates like this 3D model. It's a PLY file or GLB file. You can also like go to Sketchfab. That's what I'm doing, like downloading assets and uploading it here, for example. So yeah, there are multiple ways to do that. And it will take some time before you can like literally ask Mr. Korf to create the environment you really want to in terms of 3D assets, let's say.
Okay. Thank you. And another question is that is this virtual world adaptable to like VR glasses?
What do you mean with VR classes?
So basically, can I explore this virtual world with a pair of VR glasses?
Yeah. So yes, you can like but it's browser based, right? So in every headset that has like an immersive browser, you can like type in live.arrival.space and you're in. To be very honest, our VR mode still needs a little bit more love. So
Okay.
it works. That's
Mhm.
the way to go for us, because we truly believe that VR or MR is the way to go. For us, it was a decision to provide like instant mobile and desktop and then VR headset. But yes, it should work. It works. It still needs some more love UI wise, UI UX wise, definitely.
Okay. Thank you. Mhm.
Sure.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, regarding the conversation, like if I in the environment and ask some questions, have some conversation with Mr. Kurt. So, what's gonna happen with the data? That the conversation is public or is safe? How is that? How? So, what's happened to the data?
The data itself.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the question. Maybe you can like
So
also.
if I ask any question
Mhm.
in the environment, right, to Mr. Carr, I don't know his name is Mr. Carr.
Mr.
So,
Koff, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So I'd like to know what's happened to the data, the conversation. Like, for example, if I set that for one class, for a
Mhm.
math class, right? For example, I can use cubics for teach about volume for kids.
Mhm.
What's the security data for that? Like, can I have guarantee that any conversation that's happened in the environment, other people will not see, or it's become public?
Mhm. So that's like a really important question, and also like really important for us as a platform as a whole. So I mean, when we're using third-party services, it's of course also like what the third parties like are doing with the data. But for us, and that's why we're like collaborating with the European Commission and also like an internet governance and privacy per se, we really want to try and follow like, I mean, really can't follow everything because it's in the making, right? But that's the thing. It's like we really want to make this like a European data friendly data sovereignty platform, so everybody can like have this kind of safe experience in there. So we have like this let's say testing phase going on in here as well, but it's still an early open beta, and these are things that are not solved in this industry so far. So that's like you said, really a thing. You can set the space on private, and it won't appear in any search, and nobody else can like find the space or hop in. But yeah, these are all the questions that are really important for the whole industry.
Just one more question related to that. It's because it's my topic is related to ethics, education, technology. So I can envision it like how it can be used for education. But my question would be, if I have a student and the student asks an appropriate question to Mr. Karth, it would be able to answer, or it would have some like security, say like, oh, this question is not appropriated, it's not related to our topic here. Do you have any, how can I say, like any ethics guideline for the environment?
So we are definitely working on the diversity, inclusion, ethics standards on this. We can relate to what the European Commission is setting, right? With the AI Act and the Data Act, and it is pretty much a guideline, I would say. So training core also to like answer or handle inappropriate questions is like also a thing. What we're doing is our audio partners, because we have like spatial audio inside here, our partners at Moki are also like involved in an R&D project where they can detect inappropriate speech in 3D worlds. So that's still not there yet, but really important, because like I said, because solving this with text and photos in the 2D world, I mean, it's a mess, right? And now you have like this 3D layer and voice layer. So we need other tools to detect and flag these type of content. So I totally know why you're asking that question, because it's really, really important. So I'd be happy also to collaborate if somebody of you is working on that issue, because we'll, definitely to implement solution in there as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Do we have any other questions for Lisa?
Is there anything online or in the chat?
I don't see any in the chat.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you tell me if, I think you said that you were trying to go to the lighter access prior to going to using a VR type of headset. Is that what I understood? Your focus?
What type of LiDAR?
Did I understand that you said that you were working towards using the just desktop access as compared to VR headset access is secondary on your focus list?
I mean, it's definitely not secondary in my heart, but yes, we decided to have like mobile desktop first. It works on a VR headset. It's browser based. It works on every VR headset that has an immersive browser. So it works on a Pico, it works on a Quest. It's just not really there yet. So you can, it's like the locomotion things are not right at this point. But you can go in there right now with a VR headset and explore like a limited version, I would say. But it's still like, a lot to figure out on our side on how to present content on these multiple devices. So that's a tricky thing, of course.
Yeah.
But no,
I've been seeing that a little bit as a trend, and I'm happy to see that trend. I was wondering if you had any information that helped guide you in that direction. Any papers that you've read that are talking about favoring the VR headsets less in favor of desktop access to these three-dimensional spaces?
mhm. I mean, I'm happy to share something afterwards if it comes to my mind. I think the trend with WebXR, or the trend of WebXR in general, is like, for me, the most sustainable technology because it works on every device, right? So you're not bound to, and being hardware independent in these times is like, saves you a lot of money, I would say, but still, it's like, the access is content, and access is king, in my opinion. So I'm really happy to see what's how the WebXR OpenXR field is like developing to like hopefully yeah, get into a broader audience.
One more question. I was able to go in and set up my own space really easily. I was just wondering, I wasn't able to figure out how to speak to my AI assistant. Is he available in each of the spaces? And can you show that again?
So right now what's available is like you can type in the prompts directly and get a revised prompt out of there. If you're like truly interested in trying the pro feature, please send me an email afterwards and get in touch, because for like research or other purposes, because of course it's like cost intensive. So there will be like a pro tier later this year coming. So if someone is like really eager and keen to experiment right now and collaborate with us, we're happy to do so. So please just text me afterwards.
Thank you very much.
Happy to.
Fantastic, thank you. Oh, I also see a question asking if someone can share resources for splats.
Sorry, what
Are
was it?
there any resources for splats? I saw someone asked in the chat.
I mean, they're like, let me check. I mean, I can send you something afterwards. I would check out Scaniverse, the new, can find it on the link only. So this is a scan that we just did like 2 weeks ago. Which is just with an iPhone, uploading it here directly. And I think the Scaniverse library is on Sketchfab directly, and you can find a lot more inside there. I mean, the scan topic is like huge right now. So there definitely are tons of articles and resources about that, but maybe I can set up a space, or my CTO can set up a space and send it to you afterwards if you're like interested more into the scans.
Yes. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so I see Emily asked, what types of advancements do you think AI integration in XR would need to do to be more fully functional or widely adopted?
I mean, what we see is like the speech to picture, speech to video is like a huge advancement. Like for me, when you can like design an environment just by telling someone what it should look like, is like very much the future or the way to go. What is lacking at the moment is like everything related to copyright ownership, usage of content, I would say. So that's definitely a huge issue. The other thing is that where do you watch it? So it's like really having a viewer and, for example, in Arrival.Space, a multiplayer viewer to watch the content and be able to like do something with it. So I think a 3D viewer in general is something that is missing, and also like education, in my opinion, like also like with XR, VR in general, like educating people on how to behave in a VR world or how to interact with AI agents. These are all the things that are not set in any way at this point. So there still needs to be like a lot of education on how to use these mediums and yeah, to highlight some of them, I would say. Yeah, no standards for anything yet. That's totally correct. Yes. Yeah, so standardization is like one of the biggest issues right now. Definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, really. Please feel free to, yeah, experiment. I'm happy that somebody, Roberta, is already setting up their space. So for me, it was really, really, please set up a space. Let me know what works, what does not work, what would be beneficial to you. We don't want to build something that is not beneficial. So we really need the user feedback and to hear from people what they would like to do and see and learn from that. So please feel free. Also, like I can like put my email address in here.
Oh yes, and we just added your LinkedIn as well.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. If you would like to continue following Lisa's work, their contact info is in the chat, and please check out the rest of the Voices of XR speaker series and also the recordings of previous talks on the Studio X website. Links are in the chat for that as well. Thank you so much again.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great evening or day. Let's say. I'm going to stop that. Second. So thank you, Megan, again.